Welcome back to From Corporate to Cash Flow. We're Andrea Cannon and Liz Schwab, two pharmacists navigating the process of building time and financial freedom through real estate investing and lending while working our day jobs. Navigating the journey is difficult, but our podcast guests are experts in showing us how it's done. And today we have Mike Davis. Mike, thanks so much for joining us.
Appreciate you having me.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. Excited to hear more from you and learn about all your success. So, first, let's jump in, and I would love to hear a little bit about your story about, did you start from a corporate job? How did you get into real estate? And what are you focusing on today in real estate?
Yeah, for sure. So, last job that I had was 2019. It was a sales job, finance company out in Beverly Hills. They're under now, but I think during that time was my like, you got to take that leap moment. They was kind of playing with my, opportunities, and that was the last time I was going to let anybody really play my money. So I ended up just jumping off the ledge, quit with full scale in the real estate wholesaling. Took me a long time to close my first deal, but it was
Mhm.
during the pandemic, so there was a blessing and a curse because we still had them stimulus checks helping out. And then finally ended up closing my first one. I thought it was real. I learned it from YouTube University. Took the hard route trying to go dolo, which I learned quickly. That's not the way to do things. And after
Mhm.
I closed my first deal, I started like getting with other people and then just kind of going from there.
Yeah. So, how long did you are you still wholesaling at all?
So I wholesale here and there now. So a
Mhm.
lot of what's been taking up more of my time is with the creative finance vehicles, right? Because it's like a whole another niche that just kind of came in. I guess we'll probably talk about that a little bit later. But I still do wholesale. More I buy and hold now, though. So like I got a deal in escrow right now. We're trying to close on. We were supposed to close on it last week. Hopefully we end up closing on either this week or next week.
Mhm.
Still buying. But yeah, wholesale. I'll wholesale something here and there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, very nice. I feel like a lot of people start out in wholesaling, so I feel like
Mhm.
that's a very, I don't want to say easy transition because wholesaling's not easy, but I think it's a very like natural step for people to go into wholesaling initially. So that totally makes sense. And for the properties or whatever that you are currently holding, like what does your buy box look for that?
Yeah, I'm primarily looking for properties I can use for co-living. That's my primary focus right now. I'm starting to see about other exit strategies too, but mainly just co-living. So I buy in the Baltimore region and in the Southern California region. Right now, I'm just primarily focused on Baltimore though.
Got it. Okay. And then I actually would love to dive a little bit more into this SubTo vehicle thing.
Yeah,
It's funny because we've never met, but like I know this sounds creepy. I know who you are just because here you think like Mike Davis and like SubTo vehicles, right? And like I hear
yeah,
your name tagged all the freaking time. Like just a day ago, someone was like, "Hey, who?" And it's like Mike Davis, Mike Davis, Mike Davis. So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
just like so interesting. So wondering if you could tell us a little bit like how did you even get involved in this? I didn't even know it was possible.
Mhm.
So I'd love to hear a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I'm super grateful too because the community is like tip top notch, and I'm glad that I'm able to have this position. But it really just came organically, right? Like I think with Pace, like he's such uh, a great motivator to help you know what's possible, right? And when he talks about creative finance, like most of the easiest ways he talked about it with us was the Ford F-150 story. He just used the analogy of cars because it's easy to understand and to say, yo, you can sub to anything, right? But when it came to it, I think it was in 2022, he actually dropped some documents about sub to cars. And I was like, the only thing that he gave us is a new strategy and never explained it. He was just like, we'll deal with this. We'll come back to it later. But at that same time, I was like, I was cash rich. I was wholesaling cribs. I was like, all right, cool. But I was credit poor. I was like, I just need to find me a sub-2 car. Let me figure this stuff out. So I read the contracts. I started reverse engineering stuff, calling around the insurance companies, DMVs, just trying to see if it was legit, right? Like I never did it before. But I covered sales anyway. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'll figure it out. I started messaging people and I got pretty much nowhere. And then I ended up just going to a dealership, getting a bad deal. And like 3 days later, I went to this meetup down in Orange County. I tell the story all the time. Shout out to my guy Richard Knowles. But we was chopping it up after the meetup, and I was like, "Yo, Paige dropped these docs in there. You can sell 2 cars. It's crazy. You can do anything." He was like, "Yeah, man." I was like, "Yeah, I just went to the dealership, got a bad deal because I couldn't find nobody." He was like, "Bro, why didn't you try the Turo groups? Like Turo's not do it right now, and a lot of people bought cars on a personal credit, and they can't even hold it no more." I was like, ding. I was so mad, but I immediately went home that same night, and then I made one post in a Turo group. It went viral. First post, like, yo, I'll buy your car. Don't care if it's underwater. Hundreds of cars, literally, from high end to low end to mid tier, everything in between. People was like, yeah, go ahead. And it was one of the easiest sales I ever did. I started like messaging the people back and being like, wow, this problem is clearly bigger than me. So I already know wholesale, and I'm like, okay, well, there's a problem on one end. Let me figure out a way to solve it on the other end. So I was like, okay, buy, sell real estate. Let's buy, sell cars. and I ended up finding buyers for a few of the cars that I just wrapped up real quick. And then those same people, we had one post, another group went viral, started pairing people together, and then from there just started doing deals. And so much that I learned since then, but that's kind of where it started. And it was like, clearly it's bigger than me. And as I kept going, more and more people kept showing up of like, yo, this is what the problem is. And I just shared anything that I knew that I learned. And over time, I got way, way better. And then we started coming up with a whole process.
Yeah. So are you keeping any of these vehicles for yourself for the cars, or are you mostly like connecting people that want a vehicle?
Yeah, I was primarily connecting people, but I cherry picked the best deals. So I got a 22
Yeah,
Mustang
of course.
outside.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I got a 22 Mustang GT outside. It was 1.9 interest rate, zero down, great deal. Couldn't pass it up. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
primarily like connect other people because there's plenty of people that need these. I could have started a fleet and everything. I just don't really want to deal with rentals and Turo and none of that stuff. So I just give it to
Yeah.
folks who are needing them for like daily drivers and stuff like that.
That's super interesting. And I know you mentioned that you kind of like reverse engineered this, right? Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah. So a lot of like with any problem, right? Like it's find the problem, get the solution, you'll get paid. But part of finding the problem is I'm always tracking excellence. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm sure there's a way to do this. If you reverse engineer it on anything else, usually there's the when it comes to vehicles, right? Like there's the insurance process, there's the lender that you have to protect, there's the drivers that you have to deal with. And then for any other process of normal rentals, there's a way that things are done. With normal leases, there's a way that things are done. With normal financing, there's a way that things are done. And after talking through, like I've literally sat on the phone with claims adjusters and insurance agents to the DMV like for hours. Like we literally, we called around the entire country. I had a couple other people working with me at the time. We called around the entire country to like every state's DMVs to understand what the process will be and how to do this like legally. You know what I'm saying? And like how you could do it sound or whatever the case is. So we literally did a crap ton of R&D physically, and then I leveraged a lot of AI too, because it just helped me research stuff a lot faster. And when it came to like proving the methods and things like that, then we would literally have those deals going, and we would a lot of it was not just random trial, but it was like, okay, this is the process and how it should be because this is what they say, and then we'll do it in real life. And there'd be certain things that we had to tweak, and then we know it. Now we have the experience, and now we're able to map out everywhere. So we know, like, we literally have a full map now of the country of how the process actually works, and this is what we're able into the top method. So now this is a simple, repeatable, safe process for dealing with creative financial vehicles. And it's not only like taking over payments, because you can sell a finance deals too. You know what I mean? Um, you can do hybrids. You can do all the kind of the same stuff. It's just a different psychology because it's not technically SubTo. Like SubTo, you can separate the title and the loan. With a vehicle, it pretty much stays in the same place. It's just more of like an extremely sophisticated lease option, or in some senses, like a conditional sale. So that's pretty much how it works.
Okay. No, that totally makes sense. And like, how has your utilization of AI changed? Because I know you mentioned it, you used it to help you at the very beginning, right? So how has that kind of evolved over time?
Yeah, keep it a bean. AI was a cheat code. Like, I know it came out like November 2022. That was my best friend to start. Obviously, it would hallucinate a lot, so you couldn't really truly rely on it, but it was still good enough to help accelerate. And I think over the years, it just kept getting better and kept getting better to the point where it started helping us out with legal stuff, and it started helping us out with like how taxes and stuff worked, or how just different things that I would like normally have to maybe call an attorney for, but I could use AI reliably and then have it verified by an attorney later, so we save money and like all of these different things that I was using it for, to the point where there was problems that would come up in the niche, like, hey, I'm the bottleneck in the business now. If I'm the only person that knows how to do this, or we do this at the high level, rather there's other people that do it, but there's nefarious business practices or whatever. So like, hey, how about we remove ourselves and build an app? And I started seeing people like build apps with AI, and I was like, well, why can't we do that, right? So I started the first time with a partner without getting too stringent. That didn't work out. So I was like, well, I could probably do this myself. I can learn that too. So I leveraged AI to start building software and things like that. And then over time, which through a whole bunch of stuff over a year, we were able to actually what people would now call vibe code, but it's a little bit higher than that. We were able to build an enterprise grade app with AI to help with SubTo vehicles. So now anybody can buy, sell, get any vehicles with creative finance without having to deal with a bank, deal with a lender, deal with your credit, and all that kind of stuff. So we're able to really, really use AI to leverage everything, and it made it just much more possible to do the hard things without having to raise a crap ton of money or have like a huge team. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, AI is, I feel like it's kind of taking over and it's coming in a bigger tidal wave here recently, I feel like. And
Yeah.
so it's really cool to hear what you've done with your creative cars situation with AI so far. And I mean, I think, what is the name of your app so that people can go and look at it?
Yep, Sellfy. It's called Sellfy. It's the world's first AI-driven creative finance platform for vehicles. So you can go on there, buy, sell vehicles with creative finance. You don't need to deal with any banks or lenders. You don't have to use your credit, but AI runs a lot of it too. So that's a super cool part.
That's awesome. And so, are
Sellfy.io specifically. Go to sellfy.io. Sorry.
Delphi.io. Okay, perfect. And are you using AI in other aspects of your business besides the creative car business that you have, like with your real estate otherwise?
Yeah, heck yeah. So I use, I'm a little addicted now, but especially with these agents, like agents have changed the entire game. So like I was using AI for a while, and then a few months ago, like agents came out, like real autonomous agents came out, not just like automations with little AI touch points, and then it just started really changing everything. So I use AI every single day. I use it in real estate to help me underwrite, to help me make decisions on deals, to help communicate with title companies, to like a lot of the actual process now is automated, and I use AI to help run a lot of the automations. So I use it for real estate stuff. I use it for obviously vehicle stuff. I've now started to offer agents to people as well, and the agents have actually helped me do that too. So like I'm using the hell out of AI as much as I can.
Yeah. So, what's your current AI stack that you're using right now?
I have an AI agent that is built in Claude Code.
Okay.
It is hooked up to a crap load of tools, and I have a crap ton of skills that it has access to at all times.
Okay.
That's primarily where I'm using my agent. I think I do have an open claw agent too. I still have that. I
Mhm.
don't use it as much. It's a little secondary just because it doesn't have full access to my computer, but it still is very capable. So I technically do have two agents, but my first agent, his name is Caviel, by the way, super cool brother. But
Nice.
so he handles most of the workload of the things that I need done.
That's awesome. I really like that. So, can you give us one of your favorite AI use cases that may be applicable to someone that is just getting into real estate investing? Maybe they don't really want to build an app or anything like that, but maybe they're a little more elementary so far, but an example of a use case that you found really helpful for AI.
There's so many. I would say the first thing that came to mind was using AI to become your mentor. So like you can use AI to scrape and learn any subject by getting the AI to go out, let's say, for example, YouTube goes out and scrubs a particular niche that you want to understand. So if it's creative finance real estate, let's say creative finance real estate for co-living, have it scour all of the best YouTube videos that are out there. It'll grade the YouTube videos based on their relevance, their accuracy, and all those things before it scrubs them. Then it'll go ahead and scrape them, transcribe everything, summarize everything, and turn it into knowledge based files that it can train itself on and then teach you directly, let alone get you more up to date and then also build anything that you want. So if you want to create a business designed to find co-living properties, well, your agent knows everything about co-living already now. So now it can help you understand the process of the business that needs to get set up to get more co-living properties. It is not just off of guessing; it's off of sound understanding. So that's an easy way to use your agent. That's just one like simple way you can build a couple of skills, chain those together, and have the agent run it, right? Like I'm like my agent literally does that. Now it's actually scrubbed a crap load of stuff so it understands that it can mentor me without me having to pay a mentor or pay a course or pay, you know what I'm saying, like anything. Like that's something that's super huge. That's an unlock that an agent can do for you. But it's a lot of stuff, Andre. I ain't gonna hold you. It's a lot of stuff you can use it for.
I think every time somebody answers a question like this for me, and it hasn't just been on the podcast, but just when I'm talking about it in general, it like continues
Yeah,
to blow my mind with the capacities of AI and how much things
yeah,
have changed just in the past 6 months. Like every
mm,
time there's a different answer, and because there's so much you can do, right? Like,
yeah.
yeah. Oh man,
I
that's
get a lot. I get a lot trying to explain to people like that. People ask me like, "But Mike, what does an agent do?" Like, I just don't. I need to see it in action. I need to see it in action, and I'm like, imagine if somebody followed you around with a camera at your job every day for 8 hours a day. You, a complex being, that interacts with a lot of different things, a lot of different tools, and you have a few different skills to do a job. Imagine if somebody followed you around with a camera and then did the time lapse because they had to follow you around for 5 days a week and then compress all of that into a video. You wouldn't get a lot out of it because you can't really see what's going on. But yet, you as a human being have done so much work. Now put that in an agent, put it into a box on a computer, and then let it go. It has the same capabilities that you do on a computer. It can do all of those things. So anything that you're thinking of that can be done on a computer can be done with AI. It's hard to show one thing because if I show you it build a website, you'd be like, oh, wow, that was cool. Or if it sends an email campaign, oh, that was great. What if it built the website, built the product, built the Stripe link, built the freaking Metapixel, ran the ads, ran like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, wow, like it can do all of those things, but you're not going to watch a video of that happening. You know what I'm saying? So it'd be hard to like explain to people like what's going on.
Yeah, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It's like like semi-abstract concept to like explain to people, especially when they haven't even, done anything besides type a couple of words into ChatGPT.
Right.
Like, I feel like that's like the basic elementary level. But some people apparently haven't even used that yet. So,
Yeah, it's crazy. It's a crazy world.
yeah, yeah. So thinking about your journey, your entrepreneurial journey is so interesting to me because you like jumped in without any sort of like, real prep or anything like that. And
Mhm.
2 feet, all in. And it seems like you're just that way in general. So it's really such a cool story. And I'm wondering, thinking about that journey that you've had so far, what's a
Mhm.
piece of advice that excuse me, what's something that you wish you would have known sooner from that journey?
Don't go at it alone. Like the idea that you can conquer everything by yourself is a huge ego bust. Like it's a huge ego mistake. Like you will go so much farther and faster going with the group. And I think with me at that time, I mean, I was in a particular headspace and mindset at the time too. So my mindset is 100% different now. But I think the desire of like living out of survival mode and just being like, I gotta be the one, I gotta be the one, and just not realize like, yo, you have resources, you have community, you have people around that are more than willing to help. And if you add value to them, they'll pour 10 times back into you. You know what I'm saying? Like adding value to them means, hey, I'll pick up the phone and call for you, friend. Or hey, you need me to go take pictures of this property? I got you. Or like just anything to get around. Right. And then, that cycle of reciprocity is strong when you give with the intention of like adding, it's so much more that can come right back to you. And I think it took me so long to get my first deal because I was going at it alone. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just YouTube University thinking like, oh, why do I need to pay for a course? Why do I need to join the community? All the information's for free online. And it's like, it sounds good, bro. It sounds good. But going at it, with the team, with that momentum, getting those 5 people around you that you can be influenced by that are better than you, those kind of things, like that's invaluable for sure. So I would love to tell myself, like, don't be a dummy. You know what I'm saying? Like, go with the team.
Yeah, I like that. And, in order to do deals, right, there always has to be like a buyer and a seller in
Mm.
general. So you're already working with other people in that aspect. And then
Mhm.
when you're working together, and hopefully the people that you're joining the team with have more experience and more knowledge than you,
Right.
and you're learning from them in their processes. And it just compresses your, learning curve, sort of like an AI experience, right? Like that's the
Yeah.
whole thing with AI is that it's compressing that amount of time. I mean, working with a team does something very similar to that.
Mhm.
And so thinking, also about your journey, thinking about it specifically, I know that being an entrepreneur is a lot different than being in a corporate job, being in, the jobs you were in before. And so I'm
Yeah.
wondering if there's any habits or routines that you've developed to stay focused and productive on your goals.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's definitely different because like having a job, there's that safety net of accountability. I think that's the biggest difference because you don't have anybody to answer to but yourself. And left unchecked, it's easy to slack. It's easy to be like, I get up when I want, or I'll deal with that thing later because you're the only person you got to answer to. And the crazy thing is when you're at a job, it is easy to feel like somebody else is telling you what time to get to work or telling you what time something needs to get done, and you feel automatically like either the social shame or the literal livelihood shame of like, damn, I failed. I might, get a citation or a fire or something like that. Like it's easy to get stayed in check like that because somebody else is above you. But when you're working on your own, you literally have to have it, and you gotta want it more than you did at your job. because it's much harder to keep yourself accountable. So doing the basics, like the super basics, like just coming up with a routine every morning, right? Like getting up at a certain time, same time every day, getting a solid morning routine, whether it's a half hour to yourself, whatever the case is, and then knowing what your day looks like. And you can leverage the hell out of AI now, because you can get the AI to send you a morning briefing of the 3 most important tasks you need to get done that day, let alone whatever your time blocking looks like. So making sure that you stick to that, stick to the schedule, make sure you eat properly, make sure you're drinking water, make sure you get some motion in your life, get outside, do something. But like those simple things can at least give you that amount of routine. And when you build a routine over time, it becomes habit just as much as you would if you had a job. I think that's the silent part that people don't talk about enough, is the fear of not having a job and jumping all the way into something like this is really the fear of having to hold yourself accountable versus somebody else telling you that you need to do something. And there's nothing really wrong with having somebody tell you what you need to do. There's nothing wrong. Like we all need direction, but I think um, that difference when you know you have to be the one and you answer to it, and no matter what, like your family depends on you, like everything. It's like it's just a difference that you have to understand. You know what I'm saying? I think that's probably the biggest thing for me. So like I have to stick to my routine. I got to make sure, all right, cool, I'm on point. And then everything else pretty much takes care of itself from there. Because once you on point with the basics, a lot of the other stuff just happens. You know what I mean? You just stay consistent, disciplined, and focused. A lot of other stuff just happens.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I'm thinking about how you said like you jump ship from your first corporate job or whatever, because they're messing with your paycheck. And I was like, ooh, risky. But like what you
Yeah.
just described, like you definitely have the personality to like make that work for you, right? But I'm
Mhm.
just now thinking on the flip side of people that don't have what you just described. Like I can't imagine like they would probably struggle a lot with that, if
Yeah.
they can't be their own boss and that they don't have this routine. So now that you just described that perfect pattern of what you do and what your habits are and how it becomes a routine after all, I mean, it definitely makes sense how you were successful. I just think it's so interesting how everyone answers that question and the different habits that they formed. And
Yeah.
you're right, like as you continue to do it, if you're consistent with it, it eventually will become a habit.
Yeah.
So I like
Yeah.
that you incorporated like drinking water and getting outside. I feel like a lot of times we miss like the most basic things that are actually really important, like getting enough sleep and like having like normal friendships and relationships outside of work and just that the basic pyramid stuff that we need to be healthy in life. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah. Yeah.
appreciate you saying that that
Real,
too.
that's real. That's real. It's just trying not to overcomplicate it. But I will say too, like just because I had the job and then it was such a seismic shift. It's not like I was perfect with it. Like I don't want nobody to get that misconstrued. Like I just had it perfect like the whole time. Like no, there was definitely journeys where I was like down, where I was like mentally just like, oh, what's going on? And then there were times where like you get really, really clear on yourself when you take this leap to get away from corporate to or just regular job, whatever it is, to just for entrepreneurship. It's a spiritual journey. It's like it's deep to your core because you get really familiar with yourself. You get familiar with the worst parts about you, what your worst habits are. You get to showing up in spaces and realize you're unprepared because you didn't take certain steps or you didn't do certain things. And it's like a magnifying glass to yourself. If you're really self-reflective and you really want to improve, it gets to like clearly show you like, dad, you really not who you thought you were. And then it forces you to like look internally and be like, damn, I need to work on this. I need to work on that. Or I am going to fail if I don't stop doing this or if I don't start doing that. Like I've had serious moments where I've had heart to heart with God, just like, okay, hands up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like Jesus take the wheel kind of stuff. It's just like you gotta, you know what I'm saying, like stay on point because if you don't, you're going to fail. Because you know what I'm saying? It's feast or famine in entrepreneurship, but I don't want people to think like it ain't feast or famine at your job. It's just you have that veil of security or that idea of security because it's routine and somebody else is telling you. But at any moment, just like we're seeing now, they can email you your resignation and you ain't got a choice but to take it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's so nobody really has that security. It just it feels like it in the corporate space. But like when you in entrepreneurship for yourself, it's really like that. It's like, bro, it's you. That's it. You know what I'm saying? Your family depends on you, your spouse depends on you, your kids depend, it's you, bro. And if you're not like in a way, you don't have to be super optimal human being, but like if you're not operating in a way where it's like you said, Liz, the basics, the understanding, cool, boom. Make sure you eat healthy, take care of your body, keep your relationship strong, keep your mental strong. You know what I'm saying? Just the simple things is going to be harder for you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I like that you added, I mean, it sounds obvious, but I guess I didn't really think about it. being an entrepreneur requires a certain level of being able to reflect, right?
Mm,
And have that reflection in what do I need? Like you said, like what is the worst part of me? And like when you're unprepared, right? So a lot
mm,
of situations that you might not necessarily come into at your job, or maybe you have another, like you can just be like, oh, well, it was my coworker's fault, or it was someone else's fault, or
yeah,
my boss
yeah.
did this. But
Mhm.
like you have no one to really pass things off on. There's no scapegoat
Right.
when you're an entrepreneur, right? So I like that you said that. I just hadn't really thought of that before, even though it's like, duh, of course. Of course, in
Mhm,
order to be successful, you're going to have to evaluate yourself. So,
mhm,
yeah,
mhm.
I love
Ultimate
that too.
accountability. Ultimate accountability.
And then, so also curious to get your advice on something else. So, obviously, this podcast is talking about like finances and people that maybe want to explore other avenues outside their corporate job. So,
Mhm,
for people that are like newly starting on their financial independence journey,
mhm,
so whether it's like a new college graduate or maybe it's an like more advanced adult who is just now trying to understand their finances,
mhm.
what type of advice would you give them in about like 30 seconds?
Advice on, help me understand first. Advice on like what to do
Yes.
financially, or like what you mean?
Like any type of advice, whether like how to approach your finances, what to look out for, how to figure out what's important to you and how to save your money. I mean, just anything in general that you may have learned where you're like, ooh, I wish I would have like,
Okay,
I wish
okay, yeah,
someone would
yeah,
have told me this.
for sure. I'm about to say, 'cause I don't want to give nobody like no financial advice like advisor, but like I would,
Yeah, no. Yeah,
yeah,
Mike Davis is not a financial advisor. Yeah,
yeah. No, quick disclaimer, put it across the screen. You know what I'm saying? Don't
yeah.
don't tell me you went broke. Listen to me. But but no, like I would probably more so say, because I wish I understood this then. It's like money is a tool. It's not a means to an end. So you don't fall in love with the pursuit of money. You don't fall in love with money itself, but like you do. You want to fall in love with the journey of solving a problem, like whatever it is that you're doing. Like the problem, whatever level of the problem is, will determine how much money you get out of it. But the fall in love with excellence in solving the problem. The money's gonna come, but when you use the money, use it as a tool, just like you use any other tool. And you have to be smart with the tools that you have. You want to take care of the tools that you use so you can keep using them over and over again. And money is one of the most powerful tools because it's an amplifier. You get some of it, that is a little soldier. You take that soldier and make him go out and fight to bring back some more money. You know what I'm saying? Like money can work just like you can work. So I wish I understood that more then. I deal with investing a lot more now because I think about money like, all right, instead of me going out and buying something stupid or wasting money on a vacation or something like that, like yo, that could probably be a down payment on asset, whatever that asset might be, right? Like I'm trying to close on this crib right now, and I'll close on it with my own money, but I'm gonna get a PML to come in and handle the vast majority, whatever. But now I have leverage. I've got money that I can use to say, instead of me just going and messing it off, I can say, let me go ahead and leverage this to get more because it's a tool. Again, it's not something that is a means to an end. So it doesn't matter what your motion is, whether it's slow motion, a little bit of motion, or you got a lot going for you. Like think about money more like a tool and think of it more like something that you can use to get more. That's what I wish that I understood at least then. And I'm sure people will hear that a lot of times, but let me be another person to remind you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I like the vision of this a $1 or not a $1 bill, whatever, any type
Yeah.
of money and it being like a
Oh,
little soldier. Like when you said that, I kind of just like checked out and was like, yeah, I'm like picturing it in my head. So
yeah.
it's so true though. It's so true.
Mhm.
And then I wanted to see.
Oh no, my bad. I was just gonna say because I got this from this guy. His name is Chris Johnson. I was following him for a while. This is during the pandemic. He was giving me some financial advice, but like he would talk about money like soldiers. So like we were talking about in the stock market, like trading options and stuff like that. It'd be like, all right, you gotta think about it. If you got $1, you want that dollar is made maybe of 10 dimes. Let's call it that. But all of them, they go out. One dime goes out and gets another dime back. So instead of having $1, you got $1.10 because one soldier went out and grabbed another soldier. You might lose a couple soldiers on the battlefield. So a couple dollars might go out, you might lose them. That's just part of the war, but you keep on fighting the war because each battle is different. But when you think about money like a tool from that lens, you stop getting attached to it like it's a means to an end. I think that's one of the biggest things for anybody, no matter what your background is, coming out of survival mode. It's easy to think when you got that money, it's like you got it to your chest or you're holding it or you're not, you know what I'm saying? You can't think clearly enough of it because you're attached to it. When you detach
Mhm.
from it and understand it's just a tool, use that thing like a soldier.
Yeah, that's good. I need to print that out. I was also going to ask, you mentioned that you use money, of course, to like solve problems, right? So I'm wondering if there's anything that you're actively working on now as maybe like next steps that you can share with us,
With money or just in general?
just in general.
I think in general right now, the next things that I'm working on, I'm still active with it. So part of what I've been doing this past month, it's taken a lot of time, but I'm grateful for it because we've been giving a lot of people agents and helping people advance their businesses and things like that. But part of it, I have still been active in my business, but I've spent less time. So part of where I'm at now is just working on stabilizing my businesses as well as stabilizing the SellFi app. So people have more opportunities and more things, and we're going to do like a real official launch. So hopefully by the time somebody sees this, we're already talking crazy about it and podcasts and all that kind of stuff. But I think one of those things is just giving people more resources to understand creative finance vehicles in like any arena. So whether you got a car, you got a truck, you got a boat, you got an RV, you got a small plane, like you'll know how to do it. You'll know how to do it safely, whether on either side that you're on with it, and you don't need to call me. You can just go on there and go ahead and handle everything. And I think that's one of the biggest things I've been working on that I'm like proud of to be able to deliver. You know what I'm saying? But it took a lot of time, a lot of energy, and I think that's something I'm definitely heavily working on. I'm being invested in that too to make sure more people know about it. But yeah, that's probably the biggest thing I'm dealing with right now.
That's awesome. And thinking about that question that Liz asked you about, any advice for someone starting out on their financial independence journey, I'm wondering, what about advice for someone starting out with AI? Maybe they have used ChatGPT a little bit,
Hmm.
but they like aren't to your level. And I feel like that gap is kind of large. Like there's like the dabblers who've just barely gotten into it, and then there's the people like you that are like helping people get their own agents, right? Like
Yeah,
you're advanced, right?
yeah.
How do you kind of narrow that? Like what would maybe step number 2 and 3 be? Like, okay, beyond just using Chat GPT, but not all the way to your level yet. Like what should step number 2 and 3 be?
I've been having a lot of difficulty because I've been asked that question in different ways. I've been having difficulty like explaining it without it sounding like I'm uh, preaching or like inciting fear a little bit. But I want to be super I guess clear with people. AI, this is the worst that it will ever be. We are on an exponential curve, and where you know how exponential lines they go straight up, we're like right here. We're like right here. We don't have the time anymore to dabble with AI. We don't have time anymore to study it from afar and YouTube University this thing up and like ask a billion people and join long courses and go to school to learn AI. Like that is out. We don't have the time anymore because the gap, like you guys are mentioning, it's widening between like people who know and people who don't. So if you can take this, you can take it with a grain of salt or you can take it seriously. But I think people are vastly underestimating the importance of AI, and not so much if you care that if it's going to be the Terminator and kill us all, if you feel like it's going to launch the nukes, if you feel like it's immoral to use AI. I get all of those arguments, but I really want people to understand this is the most important advancement in humankind ever, and people who adopt have the best chance of leaping a ridiculous amount of ways forward. People who don't adopt, it will feel unnatural of the gap in between the two. Because it's like if if you can just jump in, like just jump in, figure out a way. Like, I mean, ChatGPT. I don't even want people to underestimate ChatGPT. I think most people just use it as a glorified Google search. But if you just even right now for free use ChatGPT to help you understand what's really going on with AI, what the hell is an AI agent? What is an like an AI system, like an operating system? What what is a hyper agent? What is AGI, like artificial general intelligence? What is artificial super intelligence? Like, just ask. How about this? This is the prompt that I want you to ask ChatGPT. What is the implications of AI as far as society, uh, monetary hierarchies, the gap between the rich and the poor, for people who don't use AI versus the people who are semi efficient to very efficient with AI in 3 years? ask it that, like, just, and tell it to do deep research on this. Tell it to give you back a report. You tell me what you find, like, for anybody watching this. And I hope it puts some kind of like battery in your back to say, all right, I need to really get with this AI stuff. I'm not just gonna like dabble in it. Let me figure out, let me inundate myself with AI. Let me at least use it to do things rather than just asking it for advice or things like that. Let me figure out a way to get AI to do something for me. If I don't want to spend the time to learn, I can either spend the money to buy an agent or spend the resources to have somebody literally walk me through or build something for me that I can use to make some money with it. But like, make AI actionable for you, please. Don't miss this opportunity, because this is that moment. Like, we're living through the job replacement right now. We're living through, AI has gotten to the space where it can do your job, probably do your job better than you if you're one of the 50% of Americans who are in corporate America on the computer. And it can do it very well, and it's only getting better. It's only getting better. So for you, if you own the systems, if you own the if you own the agents, or if you own the AI systems that are actually doing the work and delivering the services, people will only be paying for world-class services now, because a lot of the other labor is just going to go down to zero. So the faster you get in, the better off you'll be. That's probably the only. I know it's long-winded, but I think it's probably the way that I would tell somebody to just jump in. Stop looking on the sideline, please,
Yeah.
please.
I think it's really important that you're saying this, because I think like sticking your head in the sand when it comes to AI is not the answer or the solution.
No,
And
it's not.
it's, yeah. And I was talking to, we had Owen Meekum on our podcast previously, and his wife, Mary. I was telling her, I was like, I felt like I was too busy to be focused on or learning more about AI. And then I realized that that was exactly why I had to do it.
Right,
So,
right.
because that's like not an excuse, obviously. And I can only work so hard and so many hours.
Yeah.
But AI can do more, right? And so I can figure out those tasks and like offset those. And so I think that that's really a key factor. Is there a way to ask AI? And I'm sure there is, but I'd love for you to tell everyone like how to take that next step. Like you can ask ChatGPT, like, what should my next step be with AI? Like what, then like, kind of walk us through that, because I think people just still like need a little more hand holding to get into that like next piece beyond just the Google search.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I would ask AI, how can I use you to do my work? That's
Hmm.
probably the simplest thing to start. Like, how can I use AI to do something? All
Hmm.
right. You want to get AI to be actionable. You don't want to get AI to give you information back. You want to get AI to do something for you. When you get that high, like, when but the amount of people we've gotten agents to, and like the lights that get turned on, I love it every time. Like, I got so many videos of people just be like, "Oh my god, this thing is amazing! It's changed my life. It's so I can do so much." And people talk. The number one thing that people talk about is the time compression. You ladies had alluded to it earlier, like
Yeah.
the amount of work, the amount of things that you can get done that would have taken you weeks, months, years. You're getting done in a weekend, to hours, to minutes, because of how fast and how much like more access an agent has in this computer realm than you do and I do, clicking and scrolling, which is how we're interacting with the computer. And the AI is not clicking or scrolling nothing. You know what I'm saying? It's just going and doing the thing, same output, same outcome. So your biggest action, if you don't have, and this is probably more real, if you don't have the resources to get an agent, ask AI to teach you how to build one. But you need to get an agent in your ecosystem realistically. There's no other way to sugarcoat it. I don't want it to feel like it's a sale or something, but you need to get an agent in the ecosystem some kind of way. If you don't have the resources to get one, you should ask AI to help you build it. It's a little complex, but it's not that complex. Like, AI can literally help you walk through it. If you're patient enough with it, you can make it happen. There's also plenty of resources out there that will teach you how to do that. But that's the tech that you want to focus on right now. Is an agent, is a AI that is actionable and can autonomously work, not just something that comes back. Also, though, as I'm sitting there thinking about it, use Cowork, Claude Cowork, or Perplexity Computer. Those are resources that are cheap that can get you semi-agentic like outputs. You know what I mean? Um, which all that means is it can do part of agent work, like full autonomous agent work. It's just semi-autonomous, so it can go and build a landing page real quick, or it can go in and organize your desktop. Like, that's getting AI to do something. When you see AI in action and it intelligently do something that in your mind you just thought about, and then it became a reality, it'll start sinking in like deeper. You're like, wow. And then hopefully you get addicted, and hopefully you're like, okay, I'm going to just use this to compress all of the things I need to get done faster. Because if I'm doing it, that means other people are doing it. And if other people are doing it, that means there's a competition of who can get something done faster. And by that logic, that means that the world will be moving faster. So if I'm not one of these people moving faster, I'm getting left behind. And that's the last thing I want for anybody watching this.
Yeah, and left behind at an even faster rate, right? Because as this accelerates, I mean, I just feel like even a month ago or maybe 2 months ago, it was a completely different conversation than it is now. And so when people are watching this podcast, I'm guessing it'll be even more of that.
Yeah. Claude's coming out with a new model called Mythos. ChatGPT, I think they're working on ChatGPT 6 too, but Claude's coming out with a thing called Mythos. This is the first time that they haven't released a new version of their software to the general public. They're releasing it to a select few because they realize how much stronger it is than the world's current most strongest model, which is Opus 4.6. They're like, yo, this is leaps and bounds above that. And we're scared that if we release it to the general public, it's a cybersecurity risk and attackers are going to use it to destroy a whole bunch of stuff. So they're trying to, plug in things like that. So by the time this is out, Mythos may be out by then, but it's just the leaps are going to be so crazy. It's insane. So this is where it's ever going to be. Jump in.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that, background for sure. We have a fun question for you, and maybe the answer is you're not going to go on any and you're going to buy more assets, but I'm curious. So Liz and I both have a goal to travel, explore, and get outside and just like enjoy the wealth we're building along the way rather than waiting like until retirement, until we've like finally hit some sort of major milestone. And so wondering if you have any upcoming bucket list travel in the next couple of years.
Bucket list travel? I don't know. I tell you, like, I still go places. I just don't really, what I'm saying, like go places that much. I just came back from DR like a week and a half ago, something like that. It was my first time down there. But bucket list, I want to go to Greece. I want to go to Greece, and then I just want to get on like a 10-day freaking cruise. I don't really care where. I just want to isolate from the planet for like a cool 10 days and just chill out. So I'm probably going, if not this year, I'll treat myself to that next year. But those are probably my bucket list places that I really want to get to.
Yeah, preach about the isolating yourself. I do that every day, so maybe I just need to go on a cruise, get a more expensive version of it. So yeah, I feel that. I feel that. So hey, I know you mentioned your the app name and everything before. Can you just repeat it one more time?
Yeah, Sellfi.io is the world's first AI-driven creative finance platform for vehicles. You can buy cars, trucks, boats, RVs, small planes. No banks, no use of your credit. You can go in and grab it with an amazing asset without having all of the guardrails.
Perfect. And then if someone wants to get in contact with you to learn more or pick your brain about, I hate that, pick your brain, pay you, whatever that looks like, to learn more about AI, what's the best way that they can get in contact with you?
Yeah, get at me social media at Mike Will Close It on Facebook and Instagram. Definitely shoot me a DM. I'm always on there. I'm more than happy to help out. You can also, if you are looking to get yourself an agent, you want to skip the line, we have the AIOS Blueprint. You can get that at AIOSBlueprint.com. You can get you a world-class, fully autonomous agent that can help run your business. We literally just sent out a free update yesterday with a crap ton of new skills and more infrastructure for the agent. It is absolutely insane. We throw the farm at you. So all of the early adopters, we're still running a special now where you get free updates for life. You get free skill drops. You get the whole nine. It's not just the software, but you get everything else in between. So we do have that as well. But yeah, just get up with me. I'm more than happy to help out. I love talking about AI. I love talking about business, entrepreneurship, mindset. Holla at me.
I love it. Well, thanks so much, Mike, for your time today. I feel like I've learned even more about AI. It's scary, but also motivating at the same time. And so I'm going to go on the motivating side rather than the scary side. So thank you for that.
Yeah. Gotta give them, you know what I'm saying? Like two sides.
Yeah. But it's real, right? And I think that that's like the key thing that we're, focused on is it's not all sunshine and rainbows, and especially not when it comes to AI, but it is nice to know that it's out there and there's still time to take advantage of all the opportunities with AI, but you can't just sit on the sidelines, right?
Please don't.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you so much for your time. And thank you everyone for listening to this week's episode of From Corporate to Cashflow. We will catch you next week. Hey, it's Andrea. Thanks so much for listening to this episode. If you liked it, I'd love it if you hit subscribe. Thanks so much.